Listen carefully, son, because what I will share with you is not any corner conversation. These are lessons that I learned from my grandparents. I tested in practice for decades and can turn your mind surprisingly. Does it look exaggeration? Perhaps. But believe me, in just 7 days, with a simple but powerful method, it is possible to increase the efficiency of your brain by up to 60%. No, I'm not talking about magic pills, overstep, or mind boggling exercises. I've seen a lot of intelligent people waste time and money with these empty promises. The secret I will reveal is as basic as breathing, but it works because it is rooted in proven principles throughout generations. I will tell you a personal story for you to understand better. When he was 20, he was an ordinary student, intelligent but dispersed, tired and irritable. The classes seemed endless, the work accumulated, and I wondered why I couldn't be more productive or retain information easily. It was then that I met a wise man of those who mark our lives. He looked at me in the eye and said, "Do you want to be smarter in a week? Are you willing to do what most avoids?" Of course, I accepted the challenge, and what he taught me was three seemingly simple habits, but when applied correctly, they activate the brain impressively. The most curious thing is that, after experimenting, I noticed real changes. My concentration improved, decisions became faster, and even connections between ideas that once seemed disconnected began to make sense. It was as if my mind had gained sharpness and my memory agility. But here is a warning: many people give up halfway. They think that, because it is simple, it cannot work. This is precisely the error that prevents them from reaping the results. Now pay attention, because I will detail the method that can change your routine in just 7 days. And this is not theory, it's a practical guide, step by step, for you to apply today. The first crucial point is to understand why most people, even wanting much, cannot develop their intelligence. The answer lies in the lack of discipline to adopt habits that, although basic, require consistency. Let's get down to business. The trick that enhances the mind 60% in a week is based on three fundamental pillars. The first of these is morning meditation. Calm down. You don't have to turn a monk or spend hours in silence. Just 10 minutes a day at the beginning of the day to disconnect from the external noise and focus on your own thoughts. When I started, I thought it would be a waste of time, but in a few days, I realized that distractions such as phone notifications or parallel conversations have affected me less. I remember a time in college when I needed to decorate mountains of content for economy tests. After incorporating these minutes of concentration in the morning, the absorption of the material became easier. He began to see the essence of concepts rather than losing myself in irrelevant details. The second pillar is active reading. It's no use just flipping through pages. It is necessary to read with purpose, making notes, reflecting on the content, and applying it to your reality. I devoured biographies of great thinkers, entrepreneurs, and leaders. Each book was a class on how to solve problems and how a single idea can turn lives. A remarkable example: at 25, I had a professional crisis. Everything seemed to go wrong, and my self-confidence was shaken. It was the work on the routine of a famous investor that made me see the solution. He talked about discipline, daily planning, and systematic approach to learning. I put those principles into practice, and in a month my ability to make decisions improved radically. All thanks to 20 or 30 minutes of reading focus per day. The third and last pillar is the strategic planning of the day. I've seen many young people full of energy, but without direction. They start one thing, drop in the middle, forget another, and at the end of the day they are exhausted, without having done what really mattered. When I started organizing my tasks in the morning, setting priorities, reserving time for the essentials, and reviewing the results at night, everything changed. I started to identify where I wasted time, where it could be more agile, and which activities generated concrete results. Magic happens when these three habits: meditation, active reading, and planning work together. Meditation sharpens focus and reduces stress. Reading expands worldview and brings new perspectives. And planning optimizes your time and energy. The result: a clearer mind, more assertive decisions, and ability to solve problems that once seemed unresolved. Son, it is not witchcraft. It is a science applied to everyday life. But there is a detail that makes all the difference: the discipline not to give up on the first obstacle. If you follow these steps seriously, in a week you will notice the difference. Best of all, you don't need special features, just will and consistency. So, are you ready to start? Because the first step is yours. Planning transforms thoughts into actions. Together they act as a precise mechanism. And in just a week you will be surprised at how easier the complex tasks become, with which clarity your thoughts flow, and how your memory gains strength. I remember when I tested this method with people close. My cousin, smart but scattered, decided to try it. She always complained that she could not reconcile studies and work, forgot important commitments, and lost motivation. I gave her a simple scheme: morning meditation, 20 minutes of reading, and night planning for the next day. In a week, she called me and said, "You won't believe it. I'm absorbing information twice as fast. The tasks that once seemed impossible now flow naturally." And it was not an isolated case. I saw dozens of people go through the same transformation. Here's the key point: it is no use doing this once a week or when it gives. The magic is in regularity. You may think this is too simple to work, but it is precisely because it is simple and affordable that it works. So, son, here's what I want you to do right now. Choose a morning when you can sit for 5 minutes silent. Close your eyes, focus on breathing. Then take a book that arouses your interest and read for 20 minutes, making notes and reflecting on the content. At night, make a plan for the next day. Write down the priority tasks and organize your actions. Do this every day for a week, and in 7 days you will feel the difference. Trust me, I've seen this method work countless times. People become more insightful, solve problems with agility, find creative solutions, and gain confidence. The most important thing is to understand that the mind is not an unchanging gift, but a tool that can be improved. The sooner you start, the greater your chances of transforming your life. And it's not magic, it's discipline, attention to detail, and the right sequence of actions. If you commit to practice this daily, your brain will be stronger, clearer, and efficient in just 1 week. And that's just the beginning, because the ability to think quickly and deeply will open doors that you didn't even think existed. Now we come to the heart of the question, son, the time to unite all the pieces and understand why it works. In these minutes, I shared with you a simple secret: how to breathe, but powerful as ancestral wisdom. A secret that makes you smarter, helps to think clearly, and make faster decisions. But now it's time to put it into practice and know how to move on. First, understand the mind is a tool, not a fixed trait. You are not born with a predetermined level of intelligence. You can develop it every day, training your concentration, reasoning, and energy. Therefore, the habits I mentioned, meditation for focus, reading for mental expansion, and planning for organization, are so effective. Let's recap: meditation, sharpening your concentration, like a magnifying glass that directs your thoughts; reflective reading, expands your vision, connecting ideas and stimulating insights; night planning, transforms chaos into action, giving purpose to your next day. It may seem little, just 5 minutes of meditation, but it is these small actions that define the course of your life. When I was young, I also doubted this won't make a difference, until the day, exhausted in my small apartment in Tel Aviv, with work accumulating in the blurred mind, I decided to test the method of truth. I sat down, meditated, read carefully, wrote down my plan for the next day, and guess it, the next day, everything changed. The decisions came more easily, the priorities were clear, and the energy came back alone. So I insist: discipline overcomes motivation. Motivation is like fuel, it can light and delete. But daily practice is the engine that works regardless of mood. You may be tired, distracted, or annoyed, but the habit will continue to generate results. Now, what really changes life is the ability to think several steps ahead. When you meditate, you train the ability to observe your own thoughts. When it reads and reflects, it expands its horizons, seeing connections that previously went unnoticed. When it plans, it transforms ideas into concrete actions. Together, these habits create a multiplier effect. Every day your mind gets sharper, your sharper focus, and your more accurate decisions. Let me tell another real case. My old friend Yusuf was brilliant, but undecided. I postponed the important thing, wasted time with trivialities. I suggested, try meditating, reading, and planning. He laughed, finding silly, but agreed to try. A week later, he called on. I don't understand how, but in a month I did more than in the last 6, and with much less stress. The secret: consistency and attention to detail. It is not enough to watch this video and wait for miracles. It is necessary to act. Every day, take time for yourself. In the morning, invest in mental clarity. During the day, feed your mind with knowledge. At night, organize your goals. In a week, you will be surprised by what your mind is capable. In a month, you will see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. In a few months, you will have an unshakable confidence to use your knowledge in favor of your dreams. And no, you are not alone on this journey. Me, my ancestors, and thousands of people who cross my way, we have already traveled this path. We make mistakes, learn, and become stronger so that you don't have to repeat our stumbling blocks. So here is my final advice: start today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Give the first step now. 1. 5 minutes of meditation in the morning. 2. 20 minutes of active reading with notes. 3. Night planning for the next day. Do this without failing for a week. In 7 days, you will notice your mind working differently. In a month, you will make decisions with a speed and accuracy that will surprise you. In a year, it will be someone who thinks strategically, plans with mastery, and achieving goals that once seemed unreachable. Finally, son, remember, life is continuous learning. Each day is a chance to become wiser, stronger, and more prepared. Don't stop here. Follow this path, as there is still much more to explore, even more powerful methods, strategies to enhance your mind and transform your results. Knowledge is within your reach. Just act. You will have access to time-proven techniques that really work. There you will find inspiring stories, practical strategies, and advice that will help you grow not only intellectually but also spiritually, emotionally, and professionally. Son, the secret of success is simple but requires action. He is in his hands. Start now, without postponing, and in just a week your life will begin to become the better. You will realize that the world is not as complex as it seems, and that your mind is capable of extraordinary achievements. So go ahead, act, learn, plan, and evolve, and follow this path by my side, because the most powerful methods, the most valuable advice, and the most effective strategies are yet to come. And believe me, you won't want to lose them. And